Hello guys, welcome to my channel Sahaj Gyan, where my intention is to make you fall in love subjects like physics and chemistry, which are often a tough spot for students transitioning from 8th to 9th. In this video, we'll get a bird's eye view of topics covered in chemistry in class 9th and class 10th. When you hear the word chemistry, what pops up in your head? Probably words like chemicals, chemical compounds, chemical reactions, and a lot of chemical confusion. Let's break it all down so that it makes sense. In earlier video, we studied that physics is the study of laws of nature and nature consists of matter and energy. In this video, we will study what matter is composed of. If you keep breaking matter into smaller and smaller pieces, you will eventually find atoms, the tiniest building block of matter. Matter, and hence atom, is uniquely identified by its physical structure and chemical properties. When we deep dive into the physical structure of atom, we will find that atoms consist of a positively charged core called nucleus and electrons revolving around the nucleus. It took scientists a good 16 years from 1897 to 1913 to figure out the structure of atom, thanks to scientists like J.J. Thomson, Rutherford, and Niels Bohr. Atoms, like humans, love company. They like to team up with other atoms of the same or different type to form molecules. Ever wondered why? Because they want to be stable and happy. And this tendency of atoms to combine with other atoms is called valency. Now that we know about atoms and molecules, let's explore two other terms, elements and compounds. Elements are a bunch of atoms with the same traits. This means the same physical and chemical properties. There are 118 elements found in nature and they are neatly organized into periodic table. Remember the periodic table you made as a part of summer project? If you glance at the periodic table, you will find that elements are neatly organized and color coded. Elements to the left are typically metals and elements to the right are typically non-metals. Metals are a group of elements that have a similar physical and chemical properties. For example, metals are typically shiny in texture and they are good conductors of electricity. On the other hand, non-metals are a group of elements that have properties different from metals. They are dull in texture and are poor conductors of electricity. We study about chemical compounds, which is a bunch of molecules where each molecule is made up of different kinds of atoms joining forces. We study about chemical reactions, where atoms or molecules combine to form compounds. Atoms and molecules are referred to as reactants, and the newly formed compound is called products. Please note that the chemical reaction changes the properties of the reactants to form completely new products with new chemical properties. It is not surprising to note that 118 elements in the periodic table combine in unique ways to form hundreds of millions of compounds. So we can say that chemical reactions is responsible for our beautiful and diverse nature. Once we know how compounds are formed, we will study about three main groups of compounds: acids, bases, and salts. You may have experienced a common stomach problem called acidity, which is caused by excessive acid production. Acid is good for our body. It helps to digest food and kill harmful bacteria. However, sometimes due to unhealthy diet or overeating, excessive acid gets produced, which leads to acidity and heartburn. When we get acidity, our parents recommend an antacid solution called ENO, whose job is to neutralize the acid. Compounds that neutralize acids are called bases. Acids and bases combine together to form salts. Once we understand elements and compounds, we understand that matter consists of elements, compounds, or a mixture of elements and compounds. This gives rise to the concept of purity of matter. A pure matter consists of only one type of element or one type of compound. For example, gold element contains only gold atoms and water contains only water molecules. We conclude this video with a mention of one very special element called carbon. From earlier gates, you may recall that coal is made up of carbon, which comes from plant remains. Likewise, petroleum, which is also made up of carbon, comes from animal remains. From these two examples, we can say that one element that is dominant in living matter, plants and animals, is carbon. And therefore, there is a special branch of chemistry called organic chemistry, which is dedicated to the study of carbon and its compounds. With this, we come to an end of this video. Hope you got a better understanding of terms like matter, atoms, molecules, compounds, chemical reactions, structure of atom, acids, bases and salts, and carbon and its compounds. In grade 9, you will study about matter, atoms, molecules, and structure of atom. In grade 10, you will go into chemical reactions and different kinds of compounds like acids, bases and salts, carbon and its compounds, and metals and non-metals. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next class.